call the meeting to order.
Good morning.
Good morning, we're gonna do the pledge, Jim.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Convene as the Walworth County Planning and Zoning Board. Is there any old business? New business?
Hearing none, I go for adjournment.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
One second.
A second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Convene as the Walworth County Board of Zoning Adjustment. Is there any old business? New business?
Go for adjournment.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second. Got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Let convene as the Board of County Commissioners. I need a motion to approve the commission minutes of January 23rd, 2019.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
Second it.
Got a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Hope everybody's had a chance to go over the claims.
I have two that I'm concerned about. One is J&J Auto for tow bill. Is that our vehicle? Whose vehicle is it?
Kevin, turn your mic on.
This bill from J&J Auto, Josh. Is this our vehicle? Is it somebody else's vehicle, or? Just says dispatch from Oak Ridge PD. Just this first one for right now. The other one I'll get to too.
Oh, no, I'll have to research it for you, find out what it is.
Then on the same claim, there's a bill from J&J Auto that is from July 19th, 2017. The two tail brake turn bulbs and two tail marker bulbs. I don't think we need to be paying bills from 2019 or from 2017 yet. Says the bill was never sent 2/1/19.
Did this work ever get done or what? What's it?
I'm assuming it got done, it just didn't get billed right away.
From 2 years ago. All the books, to my knowledge, are closed out from 2 years ago, aren't they? Should have been.
Well, why don't you just let us look into it and we'll go from there. Bring it back to next meeting. I didn't enter it in these claims anyway.
Okay, there's this one. And just curious, if we're discussing the jail stuff, why all of a sudden we're getting a brand new dishwasher with most powerful motor on the market on here. When we're gonna make a decision here pretty soon. Are we just gonna go buy all brand new equipment over there?
What do you want me to do?
wait until we make a decision on what we're gonna do with the jail.
If I have stuff broken, Kevin, I'm gonna fix it.
Was it broke down, is that what?
Yes.
Well, we need it, I guess.
But yeah, if it's broke down, I usually replace it or fix it, so.
Yeah, I should explain that right now. That'd be about our teenage.
It's on the agenda, so I would wait.
Oh, is there anything else on the agenda? I mean, on the claims, I mean. Then I take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve with the exception of these two.
Of the J, the J and J, you mean?
Yeah, the J and J.
They're not on there, yeah.
No, it's not, J&J's not on this.
Okay.
You made a motion, Kevin?
What do you wanna do with the Riverside one?
He needed it. I mean, he still gotta operate. What you talking about?
Make a motion to approve all the claims then.
Okay, you got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I second that.
You got a second, any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Highway Department. Okay, the County Road 319, I met with Mike from Clark yesterday. Kevin was here for a little while and Mike was a little late, but anyhow, there was some numbers that they turned in on change orders, and we didn't quite agree with it, so he's taking it back to the contractor to sharp, tell him to sharpen the pencil, and then he's gonna come back in probably the next meeting with what Sharp says, and then we can go from there. And with the flood, the two bridges out towards Hiddenwood,
Scott, we haven't determined our liquidated damages on that project yet either, have we?
no,
Okay.
no, that's still there too. I pretty much said that I know the commission's got to agree to it, but I said that I'm sure is not going nowhere, plus the 10% retainer too, so I said, I know that's not going nowhere. All right, then, like I said, let you know what happens.
Yeah, I think that definitely get the change orders squared away before we
Yeah, that's what
make any
we
consideration with regard to the
discussed a lot yesterday. so-
damages, so.
So anyhow, that's pretty much the update on that. The flood repair project, the two bridges, we paid that RP and H, I think it is. Yeah, RP and H. Anyhow, Mike and I decided they wanted just a 5% retainer, but they need to do some work. They got cleanup to do. And then Marion was out there too, and we think they need more rock on the bridge or closest to Hiddenwood is, I would consider, they did a really nice job, just some cleanup work. But so we're gonna hold that, like, not quite 22,000, we're gonna hold back until they get that finished, so. That's pretty much everything with that. And the culvert project on the Citra Road, they have not turned in their final bill on that, so we're just not gonna do nothing with that for now. Oh, we already approved it. It was in there.
What was in?
Yeah. So anyhow, that,
Well, I would make a motion to approve paying it with the 10% retainer instead of just the 5%. 'Cause that's the way they sent it.
Okay. I'll need a motion then for the 10% instead of 5% on RP and H.
So moved.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second. Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, we'll go to 15. Consider motion for abatement on record 5064.
Dan's that will be in here anyway. I just thought it should have said it.
Okay.
It's just surplusing printer.
Here, Jimmy, all ready?
Absolutely.
I have an abatement for record number 5064. It's a property that should have had a legal South Dakota exemption through the state and didn't get it. And the amount is $1,429.02.
Okay, I'll need a motion for that.
Make that motion.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, we're gonna jump back down to 17. Deb, that has to do with you anyhow. Consider motion to surplus computer printer to destroy.
It's a printer and a computer that has been downstairs for 2 or 3 years, I think. And we just need to get it out of here because we need that space.
Okay, I'll take a motion for that.
There's no value to it at all.
No, and I think we've gotten to the point where, like with those computers and their hard drives with all the information on them, we just destroy them. And a used computer is, or a used printer is basically worthless.
More likely when it leaves here, it's shot anyhow.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't have replaced it had it still worked, so.
So I'll take a motion for that.
So moved.
Okay, you got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
Seconded.
A second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Thanks.
Thanks, Deb. Okay, we'll go to 16. Discussion regarding the jail.
I guess I put that on there. We have all these questions and stuff from everybody of what happens in this case, what happens in that case. I had Josh write up a list of questions, and we did get all the answers back from them. I don't know if you want to take over from there, Josh, or was you happy with the questions or the answers they gave you, or? Is there anything stick out that you still think there's a problem with, or?
Well, basically what it comes down to is, you know, they're gonna do a lot of the same things that we are. When we're medically clearing somebody, a lot of that's gonna be done here prior. They can do some of it at their facility. Obviously, from my discussion yesterday with them on the phone, they wouldn't charge that unless, obviously, the doctor bill or an ambulance or something like that. But as far as transporting over to Fulton Medical Center, the hospital there, they wouldn't charge us for that, is my understanding. However, they still want to meet with us. I talked to the sheriff down over in Fulton. And he reiterated that to me, that he wants to or set that meeting up again. Bring himself and a commissioner. He also wants to be on the agenda for the next meeting to come and discuss this stuff with you guys.
Okay.
The questions and the answers have been shared with the state's attorney. I don't know if he's had time to go through them or not with court yesterday. Got them to him yesterday morning when I got them. So not long after I gave them to you, Kevin, which was about 12:30. Got them probably about an hour before that.
The two big questions that I have is whose responsibility is it going to be if they reject someone? If Mobridge brings them over or a trooper brings them over? Who's going to be responsible to locate another place to house them? And who's going to transport? If we get them to Faulkner and they don't want to take them. Also, if they don't have room, what are we going to do? Because right now, you said you talked to Kurt Hall, and he couldn't house all our people right now anyhow, could he?
No, we'd have to find alternate housing because he's housing from Brown County.
Who's going to coordinate that when Faulkner's full and where we're going next, and who's going to pay that extra cost since Faulkner is technically our closest jail that we're supposed to use, and they may need to go to Pierre or Meade County or Pennington County or Huron. That's something that's going to have to be figured out too. And are those agencies going to be willing to transport, since Faulkner's supposed to be the jail if that's what we're going to use, and we don't have any room at the inn? Because right now, how many we have in jail before court yesterday? 17?
17.
And he couldn't house all those right now. With what he's already got, so we have to make a plan for that too.
We were at 18, 3 bonded out. One was a juvenile that was an emergency committal. Had to be taken to Yankton, or not Yankton, the Bureau of McKinnon, because Yankton couldn't take the juvenile. So we were down to 15 at that point.
Are these things that you could get worked out, and have a game plan by the next commission meeting when they come up here?
And give her the old college try.
Because otherwise, we're gonna be in the same place we was 4 years ago.
Nope, and I understand that, Kevin, but we all need to get our questions out there. Obviously, you guys had also had questions because of that listing that we got last time, but, so everybody needs to get on the same page here. Not just me, but everybody. It's more than me here. And I'm
That's why
I'm gonna try and think of everything I can. I was bouncing stuff off Justin this morning. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? Ask him. I try to make a note to write it, include it in my list, when I do remember something, but, and bouncing stuff off the state's attorney. Obviously, a group of us will, collaborate the questions better, but, I'll do my best and come up with the best I can.
That's why we was trying to have this meeting last week with everybody, and I know things fell through, and I understand that.
Yeah, and no, Jamie got busy, I got busy, it was a manpower issue, and some other things going on. And, I could have been available by speakerphone, but I know that's kind of difficult too. But I think we owe it to ourselves to bring them guys to the table and let them come to the next meeting. If Becky could include that on the agenda at your guys' request, and it'd be whichever representative. He said one of the two commissioners that you guys, himself and one of the two commissioners you guys, was it Bill or I don't, okay. One of the two commissioners, or both of them, I don't know. But that's just what he suggested. And I suggested him coming to the meeting initially, and he thought it was a good idea. So, I guess, like I said, I'll do my best and I'll go over this stuff some more. And if I think of anything else, I'll let you guys know. I'll throw it out in question form to you. I'll even shoot it off to them guys. Jail administrator over there sent these back. Him and Kurt worked on them and gave their best possible answer on stuff. The transport ban is not set in stone yet, so it's something down the road that they want to work toward. That's a possibility. He asked me about court dates, but I told him about our meeting that we had with the judge and on how difficult that would be as far as the actual court day and juggling around. But emergency stuff, like you said, most of these questions, they can do the QMHPs. It can be 4 years ago it was changed in statute. Before you had to be a medical doctor. Now you're a certified nurse practitioner, PA. Those people can also do them along with the MDs, so that helps. Because if my evaluator isn't available that comes to the jail, that's what I have to do. I have to take them through the emergency room or the clinic. This clinic doesn't handle those. They don't do enough of them. So that's kind of it. Did you share these, Kevin? Did you?
No, I couldn't print them out because it was on my other one.
Oh.
I didn't have the questions and answers together, so
You'll please make copies for them.
Josh, just so you know, for when you talk to Kurt, the next meeting is gonna be on Thursday because it's a holiday week.
Yep, and I did clarify that with him. I said there's a holiday there. They usually move it to the Thursday, so he was aware of that, but I let him know. I was gonna clarify that with you. Kind of thought that was gonna happen because that's what we've done in the past, but.
Josh, I guess I got a question for you, well, both for you and Jamie. What has changed in our jail that our liability, have we dropped our liability risk right now?
Our liability,
Well,
other than making the changes that were suggested by
The jail consultant, I mean, up to.
other than that,
Up to
Nothing's
the
changed.
facility stuff that we can't change right now until we decide what we do. But policy, I mean, there's policy procedures, there's been other things that have changed over there as far as operations and how we do things. There's a couple doors have been added in there to secure booking as far as the control and movement of inmates. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just.
And obviously, we don't have the federals in there, so our numbers are anywhere between 6 and as high as 18 so far.
I guess my question is from the time I've gotten onto the commission, I felt that the biggest deal was our building facility is our biggest liability. And
It does need to change. Yes.
And we, just last meeting, we voted to take and transport our overage to a facility that doesn't meet any better standards than what we've got. And I'm trying to figure out if that's the case, why are we so concerned about our liability? I mean,
Chip made motion on what?
well, to our overage, we just made a motion last week to transfer any overage to Emmons County.
On an emergency basis, yes.
So why do we do that? If our liability is that big of a deal and going to a facility, why would we do that?
That's what we've always done it that way. For emergency purpose to have that bed available, and it's usually short term.
So I guess that doesn't make sense to me. If that's a big consideration of redoing this jail or whatever, why do we open ourselves up to put ourselves in a situation where we're going into a facility that doesn't have that same protection? That's why I guess my biggest problem with not taking advantage of this facility down in Falk County, where we have the new facility, everything else is covered. I understand some of the questions that we've got as far as the transporting and different things like that. But I just don't see how we cannot take advantage of going into a facility that is more compliant, up to standards, if that facility that we have. If not, why even mess with it? Why not just get our operating costs down to where we basically equal to what we can do transporting and then just go? Leave the facility as it is. I mean, it just seems to me like our whole issue with getting a new facility was to make sure our liability issues were getting covered and getting back to where it should be. And then we just go into this whole deal where, I mean, that's what didn't make sense to me when we passed that deal last week.
Like I said, it's emergency bed space.
I would think we could go to emergency bed space where we've got a little better facility then.
Okay?
Have we always did a contract with Edmonds County?
We've had one, I've never actually had the house there.
Well, since we're on that subject, I talked to Trust Built, they're planning on getting back with me this week. So, that's pretty much what I know at this moment.
So Jamie, if we get all these other questions answered, would you feel comfortable with the contract, or?
As long as they'll agree to take our people and they understand that the level of people that they sometimes get, that's fine with me. That's my concern is that where we're going to go if, I just don't think that they understand the level of prisoner they're getting sometimes. And if they're willing to take them, then that is fine with me. I just don't want to run into a situation where we have 3 or 4 prisoners a week that they won't take, because then what are we going to do with them? Whether it's because of high level of intoxication or that they're still under the influence of substances, or they've got severe mental health, or because just because of where we live, we have a different type of prisoner who has a higher level of alcohol in their system, is a prime example. They don't get a lot of people that have blood alcohols over 0.3. That's why they put that in there. We have a lot of prisoners that come in over 0.3. And just because they're seasoned alcoholics and probably function with a blood alcohol at about 1.15. I mean, that's how they keep from going through the DTs. So as long as they'll take our prisoners and they understand that they're going to get some prisoners that are going to present them problems, that's fine, but I want to make sure that they understand that we're not trying to find a place for 3 or 4 prisoners because they refuse to take them, because I don't know where we're going to take them. And if the judge says house them, we have to house them, so that's my only concern. And who's going to be responsible for coordinating that if Mobridge is going to bring them over and then all of a sudden Mobridge gets them there and we're not taking this prisoner, even though they may have been medically qualified by our people.
According to that, as long as they're medically cleared, they're gonna take them.
And I hope that happens, honestly, I do, I really do, but.
Another thing that I was researching is, and I talked a little bit with Scott about it, and I talked with some other individuals also, 72-hour holding, but I'm still gonna need staff for that, to get them through the detox portion of it, to get them sober. Our suicidal individuals that we just dealt with this weekend, where I couldn't get the order right away, so they had to be held. They don't necessarily want to hold them because of the risk. But this one, the risk would have been down because there was no substances on board. So, but I am looking at 72-hour housing to help with that. If we were to do something like this, at least they would be getting them sober. And they would be at a acceptable position, so to speak.
What kind of staff would you have to do a 72-hour?
That's what I'm working on.
Okay.
Marion, I don't know those numbers right now. I've been tossing the idea back and forth. I know it's been done in the state. Like I said, I talked briefly with Scott about it. But it may help us with some of that portion of it. But like I said, gonna have an operations issue there. I mean, obviously a staffing. So it's like the 2 holding cells over in Mobridge. They're very short term, but they, they've used them longer in a blizzard. Stuff happens. You don't want to put a car on the road or that person on the road. It makes sense. You have to kind of punt on those things, and it's a decision that department has to make. But the dispatchers are mainly, there's no kitchen set up over there. They couldn't properly take care of them. Yes, the hospital's over there if a medical issue came up, but the dispatchers aren't trained to take care of that. And not only that, they're responsible for way too much. That's a large regional 911 center that they're responsible for. So, and these guys, you gotta have eyes on them all the time because they try everything. So, but I am looking into that, and I'll try and have some more information for you also on that. By next meeting, I'm hoping.
Yeah, and Jamie and we had talked about that. That was a long time ago. Just even if we would transport, that's where it would be handy too. If we had to have them in our facility for a while, you never know. I mean, just like the other day, what would we have done if we'd had to transport prisoners, anybody, when them storms hit? It's just stuff like that the guys got to keep in mind too. What would we do? Mobridge can't hold them. What would a Mobridge done with 18 when they got 2 cells? I'm just saying if that would happen. But I mean, that's why when we visit a little bit, just about if this was here, to at least hold them here if we chose to transport. And them are just some of the things we still got to look at regardless of what happens. What would we do?
That could, save different, a couple different ways. The way I looked at it, some of them may bond out within that 72 hours. So you wouldn't be putting anybody on the road, having that transport part. It would be basically holdover. Once bond's set, if they can't post that, then you got to transport them out. You start pushing that 72 hour. So, and get them to the housing wherever's designated. That would be Falkton, Hughes, Huron, wherever. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I am looking at it, because this is getting pushed so hard. I'm trying to find, a lot of, as many avenues as I can to help us out. I mean, it's, like I said, even the 72-hour hold, I think, would help us.
Anybody else have anything else on this? Just a lot we gotta think about, guys.
And the only other thing I want to reiterate on, you guys, and I know we got upset with each other last time, and the last meeting, that was very evident. That was, nothing was gotten out of that meeting besides people, I mean, we got mad at each other. We gotta quit doing that. We gotta do our due diligence and get these guys to the table. If that's what you guys want to do, let's talk with them. It doesn't hurt. Get them here. Let's have that meeting. Some things came up, and that stuff happens. We just we gotta work together. I mean, we're not here to fight each other. By no means. Thank you, you guys have a good day, that's all I got.
Anybody else have anything on the jail right now? Thanks, Josh. All right, 18, old business. New business? Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. We had a meeting with Game Fish about Hiddenwood. I'm not gonna go into much detail about it, just saying they're gonna schedule another meeting, but we definitely.
Verify who we is, please.
What?
Verify who we is, because it sounds like the board when you say that.
Oh, just the committee that Game Fish chose to put together, not the board. Like I said, we just talked somewhat about it. They just kind of wondering what people that they chose, what our thoughts were. So I'm gonna guess probably within, I don't know, a month or so, they're gonna put another meeting together and see if we can figure out what we're gonna do out there. I guess, Jim, are you still there?
Yep, and I didn't make that meeting, I had to cook for a funeral, so.
Okay.
So I'm totally in the dark about what this, I did get a chance to talk to Dan at church Sunday, so I'll visit with him maybe next Sunday.
Okay, I was just wondering, did you want to be on that committee, or did you just soon not be, or?
Well, I sure can if they don't have it on the day when I'm busy. And that deal come up, that funeral come up, I just had to do that, so I didn't make it to that meeting, but it makes no difference to me.
Well, it doesn't make no difference to me. I mean, it's totally up to you. I mean,
Yeah, I can sit on there, like I say, I just couldn't make it last time, but most of the time, unless something comes up like that, kind of emergency type deal, I can make it.
what they're talking to, just to fix the dam part, I'm not even gonna say the number, but it's a very big number, so it's just
Have they got, and I should have talked to Dan or talked before, have they got much data on how much that place is used?
they have them figures there, I guess. I think that they'll probably put them out, I guess. I'm not gonna put them out there. I didn't write them down. I know some did, but like I said, I think they'll put that data out there, I guess, when they're ready. But that meeting there alone, I think, was just more what our feelings were and what we thought.
Opening the door.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was some good there. I mean, like I said, the next meeting will be very interesting, so.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's all I wanted, just do a little update on Hiddenwood. So does anybody else have any new business?
I guess we're having a weed board meeting tomorrow. I know last year we talked about this GPS tracking deal, but that was never purchased. Jim, do you remember what the price of that tracking device was?
They talked about so many of them, you know. Some of them was 5,000, some of them was 15,000, and they were going to check into it, and I think Jake was going to talk to somebody at the convention, and I guess we never ever did finalize anything.
Jake did talk to those people, but he never did come back to us and let us know what he found out entirely. I have their contact information, so I'll probably just call them and find out more information before the weed board meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, the convention should be coming up before long, isn't it? Isn't that like in February or March or something?
Yeah, it's the 19th through the 21st.
And I would guess those guys would be there. And, again, and I would like to have Dave visit with him a little. And I guess really it's pretty near start over with the discussion part of it.
What's your
I
guys'
sure think it's something we need.
What's your opinion? It would solve a lot of headache of, well, this, he hasn't been out and sprayed mine. Well, you can pull it up and see exactly where he sprayed. Do you think it's a good idea to get it, or?
Well, I think it is. I think it's a good idea to have it documented exactly where he has been and sprayed, just for a liability issue. You know, there was some discussion here a couple of years ago with our previous weed sprayer. Grapevine around the county was that when that person was spraying, it was with a county vehicle and this and that, and sprayed, had some drift, and that was not the case.
I would just agree with Commissioner Holgart from the legal aspect. That helps us out tremendously as far as this is how we track what we've done, and here's the documentation to show it that way. Where you get the person complaining or a person saying the county hasn't done anything, here's the data that shows that it was done. So I think his suggestion is a really good idea, to be honest.
Would that have the ability to, I mean, is it gonna track dates and wind and all that stuff? Does it have any of that stuff on it? Or I suppose you go back to the weather service and figure out whether the wind was that day based on...
No, depending on which one you get, it'll actually track the amount of chemical and what chemical you're putting down. It'll track everything, depending on which one you get.
That sounds like a good protection item for the county.
It's just a win-win, especially with, oh, your chemical drifted onto my whatever, or you're not putting enough down, or the more we can document stuff, the better off we can be. That way we're covered when someone calls you up and says, you're not doing this, and it's like, well, wait a minute, here's the documentation and here's the...
And it's actually a cost savings to the operator, because he doesn't have to fill out all the paperwork and shit. Everything is right there.
Plus, doing the annual reports will make it a lot easier too.
There you go. We have a meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock here, so I know that's one of the things that we're gonna be talking about. Just wanted to get the commission's feelings, whether to get it ordered, so we have it as soon as we're ready to start spraying.
Fine with me.
Okay.
Anything else?
Move for adjournment.
We got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
No thank.
Got a second, all in favor say aye.
Okay.
Hi.
Motion passed.
Hi, Jim.
Bye.